Hi there. It's the 14th of November 2024, and this is Afro Perspective. I'm just going to give you an update on the situation with the protests in Mozambique. Zimbabwean soldiers have now deployed inside of Mozambique itself. As of yesterday, there were sights of trucks, military trucks from the local 3 Brigade military barracks in the city of Mutare. They were headed towards the Forbes border post. Locals report side there have been video clips on social media with a truckload full of soldiers, as well as a water cannon moving through the city of Mutare towards the Forbes border posts. On the Zimbabwean side, the border post is called Forbes border post, and then on the Mozambican side, it's called the Machipanda border post. From the Machipanda border post side of on the Mozambican side, there have been a convoy of trucks waiting to be cleared to carry on into Zimbabwe, but that has not been happening because the N6 highway has been blockaded by trucks and protesters. There have been police presence, and they have been trying to clear out the protesters, and the Zimbabwean soldiers have gone in as of yesterday. They have gone in and they have been trying to clear out the blockages from the N6 highway. The N6 highway carries on from Machipanda border post into the town of Manika, and then into onwards onto the port of Beira into on the Indian Ocean. And then Zimbabwe has got a pipeline and petroleum products. They are offloaded at the port of Beira, and then there is a pumping station, and then there is a pipeline all the way from Beira. Then it goes through Sofala province up until at the border with Zimbabwe, the Machipanda border post and Forbes border post, like I've said. And then the pipeline goes all the way to Harare, Masasa refinery. And so this is the situation. And there is a fear that once protests erupt and civil unrest starts emerging in Mozambique, the pipeline might be the victim of sabotage, and then there is a fear that the flow of traffic from the Machipanda border post into Forbes border post is going to be disrupted, hence the deployment of the military, the Zimbabwean military. Emerson Mnangagwa, the president of Zimbabwe, is attending the COP29 meeting in Baku, Azerbaijan. And the man who is in charge of the country as we are talking right now is Constantino Chiwenga. So Constantino Chiwenga would have acted with the go-ahead from the Mozambicans, as well as from a cooperation of the Mozambican, both the Mozambican police and the Mozambican military. And from the protesters' side in Mozambique, what they have been focusing on as of now, from at least from the little that I can gather from people who are on the ground, what they have been concentrating on is actually protesting in the major cities like Maputo, Beira, Nampula, and places like Inambane. But now, as of yesterday, what they were saying was that they are now shifting their focus on the ports. The ports, say the ports in Maputo, and then the port of Beira, and then there is a port in Nampula. The Nampula port of Nampula serves Malawi, and then the Beira is mainly used for traffic into Zimbabwe. So the Zimbabweans are worried that if traffic from Beira is disrupted, that's going to cripple the economy in Zimbabwe. They're going to massive disruption on economic activity in Zimbabwe. So the Zimbabweans, they would have been warned by the Mozambican government that the protesters are now shifting their focus from just demonstrating inside the major cities. They are now shifting to disrupting the traffic flow between the ports. And the Indian Ocean port of Beira, like I've said, is a lifeline to Zimbabwe. And if that were crippled, then that threatens Zimbabwe's interest. But there is a worry that the Zimbabweans have been seen with deploying into Mozambique with a water cannon, and it raises the interesting point that why would you deploy into a foreign country with a water cannon? Water cannons are used for they are used for crowd control, and the Zimbabweans themselves, they have assisted Mozambican police in clearing the crowds at on the Machipanda border post side of Mozambique, and thus they have succeeded in that. But there is a fear that due to the extensive nature of the protest in Mozambique, the Zimbabweans might end up actually taking an active role in the crowd control, in controlling the protesters, in handling the protesters, and the Zimbabweans are already being accused of interfering in election processes in Mozambique. There have been reports that the Zimbabweans voted in the this past election, and they had been issued with identity cards from the Mozambique and some have even said that this is with the knowledge of the ruling party in Zimbabwe. And those sort of accusations have been given force by the fact that well before the outcome of the election had been known, well before the National Electoral Commission in Mozambique had announced any sort of result, Emmerson Mnangagwa, the president of Zimbabwe, actually went out and congratulated Frelimo and its candidate in the election, Daniel Chapo, as the winner in the election. And they have been accused of interference, and the Zimbabweans themselves, they have had disputed elections, loads of them, 3, 4, 5 in the past, and they have been known to use excessive force. So there is a fear that besides the Mozambican police and the Mozambican military using excessive force, the Zimbabweans are likely to actually to come up with their own heavy-handed methods in handling the protesters. And once they are deployed in Mozambique, nobody knows what they will do with the Mozambicans. And Zimbabwe and Mozambique, they have a history of cooperating on things, on military matters. In the early 80s and the early 90s, there was a civil war with the Mozambican military fighting Renamo, and Zimbabwe was obviously fighting on the side of the Frelimo government. And it is feared that this time it's going to be a lot worse, and it might actually end up having regional repercussions. Already the Lebombo border post, that is the border post between southern Mozambique and South Africa, has been closed for the past 3 days. It has just recently opened. And then Mozambique does not only serve Zimbabwe with traffic from the port of Beira. Malawi also uses the port of the port of Nampula, and that handles traffic that goes into so civil unrest in Mozambique is having regional implications besides the tense situation in Mozambique itself. Countries like Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe, they are being affected by the civil unrest. So yes, thank Thank you so much for tuning in, and let me know what you think about the Zimbabwean involvement in the civil unrest in Mozambique, and what you think is likely going to be the outcome of this, whether there is going to be a peaceful outcome, and whether the situation is likely to deteriorate. Please just drop your comments in the box below. Thank you. Bye. Siyabonga. Tatenda.